Thank you to the Decoding Nature sponsors: Five Rivers Metro Parks Foundation, Cox Arboretum Foundation, Wagner Subaru, and Wegersen Gardens Foundation. On this episode of Decoding Nature, we dive into how our urban parks came to be. I'm so excited to meet up with the former executive director of Five Rivers Metro Parks, Marvin Alinsky, who I've known since I was a kid hanging out in these parks. We have natural resource parks in town. Inglewood comes to mind, or Germantown.
Wonderful resources.
Yeah, beautiful places. I feel like you had a special focus on the urban metro parks.
Jason, if you looked at the park system at that time with Carriage Hill and Cox Arboretum, Allwood, Inglewood, Taylorsville, Sugar Creek Reserve, Possum Creek Reserve, Germantown Reserve, they were all located within the edge city of the great metropolitan part of Dayton. I felt at that time that parks in general could become a catalyst for economic development for a community. If you make the cities, if you make your community more livable, people would want to come and live downtown and laugh and scream and run and jump and have fun and not go into the suburbs and develop into urban sprawling. We wanted to keep them home, keep them within the city. And one of the first things we had to do again was the name change. We wanted a completely fresh, new perception of who we are. At that point, one of the first parks we ended up taking over was Eastwood Lake, which was in horrible shape, but it was a wonderful resource within the city of Dayton. And from there, we went to Island Park and we renovated and restored the band shell. And it became a great resource for the community, especially the people that lived within the city. And then from there, we began to expand the bikeway system, which is one of the greatest bikeway systems in the nation.
Absolutely.
It's an absolutely great resource. And then we had to do more. And we began to put together the market downtown, which is another great resource.
Love the market.
And from there, we began looking at the rivers in general. And we had to do something, and there was a park called Van Cleve Park, which later became Riverscape.
Right now we're in Adventure Central. What can you tell me about this place?
This is the facility that focuses upon leadership and citizenship development for young children. And we partnershiped up with the Ohio State University and the 4-H program. And again, our focus was leadership development, citizenship development, working with projects that would attract young people in a mentoring program. So the children would go to school, but then they would come here. We would help them with their homework assignments, give them challenging opportunities, teach them public speaking, and pride in their community.
I like what you said about personal development.
Thank you.
And I know diversity has been a mantra of yours as well, especially with your time here at the Metro Parks. Can you talk about that a bit?
I think diversity is the key to any successful program. If you're not diversified, you're doomed for failure. When we changed the name from the Dayton-Montgomery County Park System to Five Rivers Metro Park, I wanted to bring that new name, the new image, into a new direction. Everybody had to be part of this because with diversity, you bring talent.
Now let's go visit some more of these urban parks and see what else we can learn. Next stop is Island Metro Park to meet up with Paul Williams, manager of the Urban Zone Parks.
The Urban Zone in our park system encompasses Island Park, Wesleyan, Sunrise, Riverscape, and Deeds Point. The direct connection between all these parks is that they are right off of the water streams, the waterways that run through the area where the Great Miami still water touches Island, runs down to Deeds Point where the Mad River merges in, connects with Riverscape, and as the river meanders around downtown Dayton, it picks up Sunrise right there where the Wolf Creek enters into the Great Miami. And of course, the Wolf Creek comes from the west side of the Dayton area through Wesleyan Park down to downtown Dayton. So that area in itself encompasses what we refer to as the urban zone.
And so you wanted to meet here, of all places, at this iconic band shell. I've seen this for, well, growing up. I'm a Daytonian, so I mean, you can't miss it. You can see it from Riverside and Helena when you go by. But what can you tell me about this thing? How long has it been here?
This structure has probably been here since probably about 1931, actually. And so I can tell you the relevance of it is at the time when Metro Parks took over several of the Dayton park facilities, with Island Park being one of them, they did a renovation. And it was critical that we maintain this band shell as a central feature of the park. It had a long history of concerts throughout the years, and there were some legacy concerts that would continue after the renovation was done. So that, that was important to Metro Parks as we came into an urban environment to try to continue doing some of the historical things that had happened at the park, but also start to inject some of the conservation types of things that Metro Parks is known for. So.
Yeah, I think we have some guests.
Yes. Don't feed the ducks or the geese. Don't feed the geese. One of the things that's pretty special about the urban zone is that part of the Metro Parks charter is that we have this 90-10 relationship where 90% of the land we manage and maintain is kept natural while 10% is developed. Well, guess what? The urban zone is
part of that 10.
It's definitely a part of that 10. Here at Island Park, we've taken opportunities like we have at other parks to really inject conservationism. We've planted grasses at the north tip of the park. We have a really focused effort towards replacement of old trees as they go. I can't tell you which park is my favorite. I love them all. Like I said, I've been here since 1994, and a large part of my career has been spent in the urban park. So voila, there you go.
Great, thank you.
All right. He's probably hit 343 of 344. He's getting it. He's done rode the trail today.
The Urban Park Tour continues with Riverscape Metro Park, where I meet up with Carrie Scarf. Carrie shares the hard work it took to create this park and the surrounding developments that continue to this day. I've always been curious of how did this come together?
It was amazing. It was right after I got to Dayton, and the city had given Metro Parks all these urban parks, and Marvin Alinsky had this vision with Gene Woodhall that this park could be Dayton's urban park on the riverfront, because that's the big thing about the urban parks. It was Metro Parks' opportunity as a conservation agency to connect the whole urban population to a natural element, our biggest natural asset.
Yeah.
So he had this great vision. He got together with the Downtown Dayton Partnership and the Miami Conservancy District. Then we brought in the City of Dayton and Montgomery County and RTA. And it was
big time collaboration.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
It was a dream team, Everybody brought something to the table. And it took 4 years, but here it was.
Yeah.
Here it was.
It's fantastic.
It is. It was overwhelming when we opened. It's amazing to think about this now, but in the first 2 weekends that Riverscape opened, we had 2 events. Each of them drew 50,000 people. From Metro Parks' perspective, it was about connecting people to the river and serving the urban community, but from the city and the county and all of those other partners, it was about economic development. And way back then, Riverscape was being developed, the Schuster Center was being developed, the ballpark. Mm-hmm. At that point in time, we were pushing the quality of life elements in the downtown forward and hoping that that would bring the residential and the retail restaurant and the office buildings behind us.
Yeah.
And my gosh, you know, look,
Yeah.
it happened.
Yeah.
It happened.
CareSource wasn't here.
No, two
Yeah.
CareSource buildings.
Right.
You know, here's a new building.
Right.
The entire Water Street development.
Yep.
The PNC building, the hotel.
Yeah.
We're surrounded. We're
Yeah.
absolutely surrounded.
It's a catalyst.
It is, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
One of my favorite parks in all of Dayton is Wagger's and Gardens. The sights are glorious in the warmer months, and they have this fantastic kids zone.
Three gardens that are located along this area were developed at about the same time. But this one is called the Victorian Garden, and it's called the Victorian Garden partly because of the control of how things are placed purposefully. And the star that you see here is...
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's sticking out. I never thought about it. I've walked by it 100 times, but I mean, it is a star.
Yeah, it's based off of a star from the Dayton Soldiers Home from the 1800s.
What is today the VA?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. And then it will be planted up in a pincushion pattern. And what pincushion means is that it's all very low growing plant material with great differences in texture. And it is very labor intensive to keep it looking nice, but it's very reminiscent of that Victorian time period.
And so we're coming up to this neat thing. I've played in it, but I never knew it was like an old art installation. What is this?
This is called the living room, and it was installed by a gentleman, an artist named Gary Riverscape in 1984. And we are currently walking up to it, but during the summer, these will be prairies here. So you'll have a lot of different insects and birds and things that will be...
Different ecosystem, yeah.
Yeah, totally different.
This place is super cool. I mean, I love the way it's grown. You can do any number of things in here.
Yeah, it's a space now, right?
Yeah.
Initially, when it was installed, it was just 48 small arborvitae planted, but now it's actually a space. So it would be great to have a small picnic in here.
Yeah.
Read a book, maybe.
It reminds me of kind of like a Stonehenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Special thank you to the Wagger's and Gardens Foundation for their support of Decoding Nature. On the next episode of Decoding Nature, we will hear the future vision for how our park system continues to grow and evolve. Until next time, get outside and explore your Five Rivers Metro Parks.